Good morning and welcome. This is Kirk in the morning. My name is Ida Munzatsi. It's going to be quite an interactive show. Please make it so by sending in an SMS, that is via our SMS number 0111220044, or send in comments or questions, that is via Instagram as well as Twitter, Facebook and YouTube, that is Kirk TV Kenya. Well, today the world marks International Epilepsy Day, and that's exactly the conversation that we will be having this morning right here. So if you have any questions as far as epilepsy is concerned, please feel free to do so. As I mentioned, that is via our SMS number 0111220044. But first, let us start with the newspaper review. Well, of course, I have the Daily Nation right here and the Standard newspaper, and they're focusing on the things that happened during the weekend, mostly politics. But the Daily Nation right here is just giving it a unique angle, focusing on matters to do with just the economy in Kenya as well as loans. And the story or the caption on the Daily Nation is auction, just looking at tough times, and that's just an excerpt from the Daily Nation. They're talking about tough times as more and more Kenyans are losing their valued assets, vehicles, pieces of land, houses and households as landlords, banks, Shylocks and online lenders go after them for defaulting on loans. That's a story that you can definitely find on the 5th page of the Daily Nation. And now, just going straight to the 4th page of the Daily Nation, we have matters to do with the interdenominational service, that is that the Azimio la Umoja or the government had during the weekend in Nakuru County, specifically on Sunday. And just an excerpt as well from the president, that is William Ruto. They are talking over out to unite Kenyans, not scuttle opposition, Ruto says, definitely just responding to the Azimio la Umoja coalition or the opposition side of it. And we can see the different leaders right here that the president was accompanied by. We have the deputy president as well as that is the chief minister Musalia Mudavadi right here, just among other members are right there. So just looking at the 5th page of the Daily Nation as well, now we have the opposition side of it, and Raila Odinga now tells the president to explain spending. And just to read probably just the first paragraph of that particular story, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition leader wants the government to explain the spending of 863 billion collected as tax in 5 months. So that's as far as the opposition side is concerned, and that's a story on page 5 of the Daily Nation. And now let us go straight to the Standard newspaper right here, and they're still focusing on matters politics as far as well as just the economy in the country. And the Standard newspaper is giving a headline of Ruto on path to absolute power, and I'll still do an excerpt from it. And game of numbers, President William Ruto's plan to control parliament in evident with moves to co-opt members from the opposition. We've seen that is the president just calling a number of opposition leaders, among them governors as well as members of parliament in State House to discuss on different matters. So that story, you can get it on page 4 of the Standard newspaper, and we are definitely on that particular page, and those are quite some numbers right there. They are just doing over 349 total members of our National Assembly, that's in the parliament, and they're still giving figures as far as the Kenya Kwanza side is concerned and the Azimio la Umoja side is concerned. So you can read in-depthly just how the president plans to doing that. And now on the 5th page of the Standard newspaper, we have the Devolution Summit that happened during the weekend from Friday and Saturday. That's in Nakuru. And the Standard newspaper is looking at it in this angle, Hope as a Devolution Forum seeks revenue consensus. So that's a story on page 5 of the Standard newspaper. And now the Standard newspaper is giving the opposition bit of it. That's on page 6 of the Standard newspaper. And now Azimio vows to publish genuine election results. So that's as far as the rally that they had is concerned, and the Standard newspaper is still giving it the story that is as far as the interdenominational service that happened yesterday in Nakuru County is concerned. So you can get that story on page 6 of the Standard newspaper. And definitely you can always go just looking at the different stories in the two dailies that is. So that's all we had for you as far as the newspaper review is concerned. Remember, we have looked at the Standard newspaper as well as the Daily Nation, and the stories that are being given a priority is on matters to do with the government as well as the opposition bit of it. So that's all we had as far as the dailies are concerned. Well, and now we will be looking at matters to do with what exactly happened during the weekend as far as the news at this hour is concerned. Remember, I also mentioned that today is International Epilepsy Day, and we will just be looking at matters to do with epilepsy. Remember, this is one of the conditions that is surrounded with so many myths and misconceptions. And with the help of an expert as well as a person living with epilepsy, we'll just help tell you of what exactly epilepsy is, even as we bust some of the myths and misconceptions. Let us first take a very short break. We will be coming back with news at this hour.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90647.
We start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry.
I have retired from now employment, the formal employment, but I have not expired.
We get onto a journey to understand the experiences and the things that they have gone through, the journey of their lives that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. And we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry.
Even the ministers we have today, I would like them to know there is today and tomorrow.
Well, welcome back to Kirk in the Morning. My name is Aida Munzatsi. Remember, we just started with looking at what exactly is in the dailies, just focusing on the Daily Nation as well as the Standard newspaper. And as I mentioned, today's conversation is all about epilepsy. Remember, today the world marks International Epilepsy Day, a day that is set aside to continue raising awareness about epilepsy. Now, before we get into that particular conversation, let us just look at news at this hour. And speaking during an interdenominational prayer service in Nakuru, President William Ruto directed Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki to pitch tent in the insecurity-affected areas until the government put the attacks to an end. This comes after bandits staged another attack in Turkana County only a day after attackers killed 4 police officers in a similar raid. Now, Sunday's attack took place in Kainuk, where raiders drove away 24 herds of cattle.
Nimemwambia Profesa Kindiki atoke ofisi Nairobi, aende aishi kule North Rift mpaka hiyo mambo ya wananchi kupoteza maisha yao iishe. Na tumeweka mpango kamili na ile uwezo wote wa serikali. Tutahakikisha wale watu wajeuri wachache wako pale wanajaribu kutuonyesha jeuri, tutapimana na wao na tutahakikisha kwamba hakuna Mkenya anapoteza maisha yake, na tutahakikisha kwamba wakaribu kuharibu usalama wa taifa letu la Kenya, na sisi tutapambana na wao vilivyo.
Hakuna hata mmoja anapewa allowance. Ile mshahara ambayo ile officer anapata huko kule Kabedo, ile mshahara ambayo askari amesimama Bangata kwa traffic anapata. There's no incentive whatsoever. Kula tu chakula kule. Inafika mahali askari wanafanya an unholy alliance na majangili. Wapeane risasi ili wapewe mbuzi wa kule. Tumejiaibisha kabisa.
Now, still in the same event, post-election politics dominated proceedings at the prayer rally in Nakuru County, as Kenya Kwanza leaders defended President Ruto from sustained attacks from the opposition Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. Speaking during the interdenominational prayer service, President Ruto said that Kenya was held hostage for a long time, indicating that time had come for the country to be set free. On the other hand, his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, claimed to have forgiven all those that mistreated them while in power.
Kenya has been held hostage to ethnic politics, to personality cult politics for far too long. We need to unchain ourselves from that kind of politics so that we can unleash the potential of our citizens and the potential of our country and move our country to the next level. Tunaelewana ndugu zangu? Kwa hivyo mimi nataka niwaambie wale wote wako tayari kufanya kazi na sisi, tuko tayari kufanya kazi na wao. Kwa sababu nia yetu sio kupanga siasa. nia yetu ni kupanga maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya kwa manufaa ya wananchi wote wa taifa la Kenya. Kwa siku 2 zilizopita nimeketi chini na governors wa taifa letu la Kenya wote, bila ya kujali wametoka chama gani ama sehemu gani, kwa sababu tunataka tuelewane kama viongozi na tujue ya muhimu ni tupange kilimo, tupate chakula ya kutosha, tuondoe njaa, watu wa Kenya wasiwe katika mahali ambapo tunaomba chakula miaka 60 baada ya sisi kuwa taifa huru. Tumeketi chini na wao, tumepanga mambo ya biashara, mambo ya industrialization, mambo ya value addition, mambo ya agro processing, vile tutahakikisha kwamba kuna exports ya kutosha, tulete pesa za nje, tuhakikishe ya kwamba taifa letu linaenda mbele. And I want to agree with Apostle Kimani that this country shall be a country of surplus. It shall not be a country of debt. We shall be lending to others and we shall not be borrowing. Hiyo ndio azma yetu na ndio mpango yetu. Na vile tumeketi chini na magovernors juzi, nitaketi chini na viongozi wale wengine wote until we get to the place where our nation is a nation that we can all be proud of being Kenyans.
We would like to ask all those of us who are mistreated and persecuted in one way or another to have a heart to forgive our tormentors and we move forward. Na huyu rais wetu ametuambia tusahau iliyopita. Hata hiyo sheria unasema tuunde ya kushika watu, huyu rais hawezi kubali. Sheria ambaye rais anasema tuunde ni ya kubadilisha uchumi wa Kenya, kila mtu aweke pesa mfukoni. Ni sheria ya kutengeneza amani katika Kenya. Na usijali hao watu wanajifanya wameshikwa. It is a very simple thing, you don't understand. These people are having hallucinations and nightmares. They cannot sleep because walitumia askari kuumiza watu. Sasa yeye akiona askari anakuwa na nightmare. Sasa wachana na hawa, kwa sababu huyu rais wetu aliita hawa wawili, walikuwa Harambee House, akawaombea. Why are they still having nightmares? Why are they not sleeping? Unajua maombi ya wajane, maombi ya watoto yatima, wale waliuawa katika Yara River, wale walipelekwa Abadeas, wale walipigwa risasi wakauawa na polisi wakiwasimamia, that is what is haunting them. They cannot sleep. Na kwa hivyo tunataka kuambia hao wakuje kanisani, waokoke, so that they stop having nightmares that kuna polisi wanawafuata. And we would like to tell the press, mukikimbilia kuandika uongo, mufikirie. The police force, police service iliongozwa na huyo ni tofauti na ile iko. The police service we have is a professional police service that has no time for politics. The police service we have no time to go and raid a house at night. The police service that we have itafanya kazi kulingana na sheria. So that police service mlikuwa mnaongea juu yayo sio hii yetu, ni ile ya zamani. Na tuko na police service mpya that is independent and professional.
Mambo ya uchaguzi ilikwisha, IBC kadeclare kiongozi, Supreme Court kadeclare kiongozi. Ni jambo gani lingine linaweza kufanyika ambalo linaondoa huyu rais kwa kiti? Bila tutapoteza muda na mnaenda kuongea. Rais ako kwa kiti by right, alipewa kura na Wakenya. He doesn't have to apologize to anybody or seek forgiveness for everyone.
Now, away from politics now, the biting drought continues to have devastating effects on both human beings and livestock in northeastern, as residents now migrate in search of water and pasture. So bad is the situation that pastoralists from as far as Mandera and Wajir are covering hundreds of kilometers to Tana River County in search of the precious commodities for themselves and animals.
Sasa tunaona ukame, gombe anakosa manyasi. anakufa yote. Zile kidogo kidogo tulikuja hapa, anakufa juu ya gari. Tulikuja hapa Tanariva hii. Tanariva tulipokuja tunakuta watu wa Tanariva Hambaris.
Yes.
Tunakaribishwa na wananchi wa Hambaris.
Yes.
Tunakaribishwa na mheshimiwa wa Hambaris. Mstashabili.
Yes.
Sala location. Sasa wale watoto iko hapa msitu wanakaa. Wengine hawana maziwa. Wengine hawana hata ration. Naona wale waheshimiwa wajia yote tulipatia kura, tulifanyia chochote ambaye kutoka MCA kutoka inaitwa nini Human. Hakuna mmoja anasaidia wananchi. Waje wasaidia wananchi waone ili shida iko hapa. Na wengine wanakufa mali yao, hata hakuna mbuzi moja. Unaona hapa ukienda Pichikani utakuta ile hayawani ambayo yote nakufa juu ya gari. Kwa hivyo waje wakufe, waje waangalie mwananchi vile ilivyo.
Watoto wenu kawafanye nini?
Serikali ya Ruto aje tusaidie na chakula na maji. Na turudishe watoto wetu shule. Naona tunaomba hiyo.
Ukiuliza wenzetu wametoka kaunti mbalimbali, wengine wametoka Mandera, wengine wametoka Wajir, wengine wametoka Garissa, wengine wametoka nje karibu ile kaunti karibu, lakini mbali ukiangalia wakati mwingine kama Moyale wengine. Lakini shukrani kwa wenyeji kutoka Sala, kwa kila kabila ambaye walikaribisha hao wenzetu. Ya kwanza ile shida iliyoko ni hapa Amares, ile kijiji tuko na watu walikuwa wanakuja kwa wingi maji. Hapa kwa mto ni kilomita 14. Na leo hii hakuna maji. Natumia mfuko wangu kuleta maji watatraka. Naomba serikali watusaidie. Naomba wananchi wajichangie wenyewe walete maji.
Naomba serikali gani?
Ndio naambia. Nilikuwa naomba serikali walete mikakati ya maji hapa. Permanent source of water.
Ukame hii ni kitu ambayo hatujawahi kuona. Tunakataka serikali ichukue jukumu lake la kusaidia wananchi wake. Wanyama ikifariki, hata binadamu itakuja karibu kufariki. Juzi nilikuwa nasikia kwa radio kina mama wengine kutoka mahali inaitwa Wajir West wanakuja mpaka Dadaab kwa refugee, wanyama imefariki na wanakuja kutafuta chakula. Hizo imetuudhi. Mama anasema hajakula siku 3 na ako anakaa nje na serikali ziko. Kwa hivyo tafadhali serikali kuu nataka hiyo jukumu ibebe na isaidie wananchi wake.
Now, elsewhere, the Teacher Service Commission, that is TSC, has come under fire for failing to halt delocalization of teachers following passage of motion to that effect in the National Assembly in November last year. MPs unanimously on November 3rd approved the motion sponsored by Lurambi MP Titus Hamala on review of teachers' deployment policy, saying delocalization had disrupted the lives of teachers through arbitrary transfers. Manyata MP said it was wrong for TSC to disobey the directive, saying he had received numerous complaints from teachers in the area whose requests for transfer back home had not been acted upon.
Na nimesikia walimu wa Manyata wana apply transfer kutoka Kitui, Meru na kwingine, lakini hawapewi transfer zao. Na nataka kueleza TSC, tafadhali, tulipitisha mswada bunge, tukasema mwalimu afai kuwekwa mahali pale hataki kuwa. Ningeomba TSC ifuate masharti ile tuliwapea, kwa sababu delocalization ya walimu tulisema isifanywe kama mwalimu ana sheria yake. Walimu wengi wetu wamekuwa huko Kitui, wana apply kurudi hii upande ya Embu, inakataliwa. It is very important that TSC ifuate sheria, ipee walimu mahali pale wanafaa kuwa. Familia mingi sana zimekuwa broken. Watu mmoja alikuwa ananieleza ni mgonjwa kutoka Kirinyaga, lakini yeye ni mgonjwa bwana ako Machakos. Inakuwa shida kushikilia familia yako pamoja. TSC should obey the law na wapee walimu, warudishe walimu kwenye wanafaa kuwa. Na kama kuna mtu anashika barua za walimu wa kutoka hii upande, akijulikana anafaa kuchukuliwa sheria, kwa sababu ni mbaya kushika information ya walimu.
Well, that's all on news at this hour. We will be taking another very short break. When we come back, we'll now be having the conversation on matters epilepsy. Remember, today the world marks International Epilepsy Day, so don't go too far.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647. Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
We start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry.
I have retired from now employment, the formal employment, but I have not expired.
We get onto a journey to understand the experiences and the things that they have gone through, the journey of their lives that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. And we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry.
Even the ministers we have today, I would like them to know there's today and tomorrow.
PCEA Enomatasiani Booth Boys High School is an ideal school for boys located in a quiet and serene environment, ideal for learning in Matasia, Kajiado County. The school works towards producing qualified students who become competent professionals in the society.
We offer a wide variety of subjects in our school. Our school is well equipped. We have a state-of-the-art library, a spacious boarding section, a modern kitchen, also Olympic-sized swimming pool where our students go and have their swimming lessons.
The school focuses its effort not only in classroom learning, but we also provide learners with equal opportunities, that is to hone their abilities and talents. We have games like football, chess, volleyball, among others. The climate here is also favorable for all students.
PCEA Enomatasiani Booth Boys High School is open for January 2023 intake in Forms 1, 2 and 3.
Our school is founded on Christian value. We appeal for you to register, and we know we'll be able to mentor your boys through our Christian setup.
We are going to put our boys in Christian values, and we are committed to do so at this time when the boy child must be taken care of.
For more information, get in touch via 0796 560000, 0796 560000. Email us pcea@enoboothboys@gmail.com.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90647. Losing a beloved one can be one of the hardest life experiences. Death brings a total change in many setups, the family taking a huge position. Death also provides an opportunity to celebrate the departed and their achievements on earth. Kirk TV provides for you an opportunity to announce death and funeral at affordable fee. For more information, write to us via announcements@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90647.
Greetings to all of you who watch Kirk TV programs. I send you Christian love and peace from all the Kirk family and the entire ministry. Since God gave us this Kirk TV, which is a very competent means of reaching people in and outside Kenya, Kirk TV is undoubtedly giving good and effective services to many people wherever our signal reaches. It is evident that God is at work through Kirk TV. We therefore need your loving support through your continuous prayers. We also appeal passionately for your generous financial support to help us be on air as the Lord will require us to do and to be. Please plan to give regularly. Please give occasionally, or you can begin to give a one-time gift. The scripture is right that you will be made rich in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. Please respond to this genuine, urgent appeal. Kindly be a Kirk TV partner. May God bless you abundantly as we join hands to do this good work.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Keep it Kirk now and going forward. We have a lot of family programs, and this being a Christian commercial station, we will partner with you as institutions, as individuals, so that we are able to reach out to the entire world. One person said that my parish is the entire world, and I believe that Kirk TV is going globally, and therefore bring your business. We are going to advertise it and also partner with you.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647. Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647. Losing a beloved one can be one of the hardest life experiences. Death brings a total change in many setups, the family taking a huge position. Death also provides an opportunity to celebrate the departed and their achievements on earth. Kirk TV provides for you an opportunity to announce death and funeral at affordable fee. For more information, write to us via announcements@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
We start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry.
I have retired from now employment, the formal employment, but I have not expired.
We get onto a journey to understand their experiences and the things that they have gone through, the journey of their lives that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. And we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry.
Even the ministers we have today, I would like them to know there is today and tomorrow.
Greetings to all of you who watch Kirk TV programs. I said you Christian love and peace from all the Kirk family and the entire ministry. Since God gave us this Kirk TV, which is a very competent
Welcome back to Kirk in the Morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I promised, we are going to have that conversation on matters epilepsy. Remember, today the world is marking International Epilepsy Day, a day that is set aside to raise awareness about epilepsy. As mentioned, still, epilepsy is one of the conditions that has or is surrounded with so many myths and misconceptions. And definitely with this conversation, we are going to bust some of the myths and just tell you of what exactly epilepsy is. So make this conversation interactive by just sending in an SMS via our SMS number. That is 0111 220044. Remember, we are also coming to you live. That's on Facebook as well as YouTube, Kirk TV Kenya. Now on set, I'm being joined by, that is Dr. Tiberi Nyakwana. Thank you so much for your time, Daktari. And we also have Evelyn Kamau, who is a person living with epilepsy. And with their help, you're definitely going to understand further of what epilepsy is. Now, just starting with you, Daktari, before Evelyn just sets in and just shares her journey with epilepsy, let us just start by you telling us what exactly epilepsy is.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you, Eda, for the question.
Thank you.
Well, since time immemorial, the name epilepsy always triggers some anxiety because it is a disease that has been surrounded with a lot of mystery. But today, as we know, epilepsy is a condition of the brain caused by abnormal impulses which are released by the brain cells, and these impulses interfere with the normal functions of the body. Quite a number of those impulses can cause what we call a convulsion. But not all cases of epilepsy are convulsive. We have those that don't manifest with convulsion. They can manifest with other symptoms.
Okay.
So, in summary, it is a condition of the brain where people have tendency to have events called seizures, and these are abnormal discharges from the brain.
All right, and now as the world marks International Epilepsy Day, definitely Kenya is among the countries that are marking this particular day. If you have numbers, probably how many people are living with epilepsy in Kenya?
Thank you, Ida. Well, a lot of research have been done using different methodologies. But one which stands out is that survey which was done in Nakuru way back in the 80s revealed that out of every 100 persons, we have 2 people who have epilepsy. We have 2 people who have epilepsy. So we are talking about 2% of the population having epilepsy, which can be easily recognized. Maybe we need further studies to reveal how many more could be having epilepsy, which do not show signs and symptoms. Yeah, but as we talk today, if we talk about a population of 50 million people, then definitely we are talking about around 1 million people in Kenya having epilepsy, which can be diagnosed easily and can be treated.
All right, and now as you talk of that, definitely we just be looking at the signs of epilepsy as well as the different kinds of epilepsy. Now to you, Eva, I'll just like you to let us know, when were you diagnosed with epilepsy, and probably what did the doctor say was the cause of your epilepsy?
Thank you, Aida. The first time I was diagnosed with epilepsy was in 2018. And they couldn't actually pin down the reason as to why I was having epilepsy. And initially, they were not very sure it's epilepsy, so they told me I have convulsive disorder. So along the way, I've seen different specialists, and at the moment now I know I have epilepsy and I'm living with it. Yes.
All right, and it's quite recent. With many people probably that I know who have epilepsy, they were diagnosed probably during their childhood. Is there probably a life event that happened before the diagnosis, or what exactly happened? Because it's so recent.
even me, initially I thought many people get epilepsy from childhood. And due to lack of enough information, it contributed to me not being in denial that I have epilepsy. But by the time I was being diagnosed, there were some events that actually happened. Let me say, going back to childhood, actually, those red flags that you ignore, but they actually contribute to it all. They culminate to that point now when you're diagnosed with epilepsy. Because I remember when I was a kid, I used to have migraines, and I would say, "Oh, Mom, I have headaches," and she'll be like, "It's not a big deal. Just take painkillers and you'll be fine." And those are the things I will say right now to any parent. Don't ignore anything your child tells you, especially to do with the brain, you know, the head, and also to be careful how you handle your child, because probably, I'm just saying probably, if it would have been looked into back then, maybe something would have been done about it. But by the time it was happening, I remember I lost 2 dear people in my life. So that's when it started. Yeah, I started. That's when I got the first seizure. Yeah.
All right. And now, Daktari, let us just look at the causes now of epilepsy. Eva is talking of these signs that our parents should not ignore, or even we as adults should not ignore. What are some of the signs that we are looking at, and what exactly causes epilepsy?
Thank you very much, Ida. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it is actually an activation of a part of the brain. So that activation in that particular part of the brain will manifest with signs which are controlled or assigned to that particular part of the brain. We have the brain mass. We have 3 parts of the brain. We have the upper part, what we call the cortex, and we have the hindbrain and the forebrain. The cortex controls most of the functions that we do. Many functions relate to movement, orientation in space, internal mechanisms like feeling hungry and going for food, and also things to do with planning and also executing some of the activities that we planned. So depending on which particular area of the brain is activated, any of those functions can be impaired. But let me just come to the most common type of what you call epilepsy. The most common type of epilepsy is what we used to call grand mal. Today we call it generalized tonic-clonic seizure. Generalized means once that activation starts, it affects the entire brain, the two hemispheres, and therefore it compromises on the level of consciousness. So somebody can lose consciousness. In the course of losing that consciousness, they fall down, they can stiffen, they jerk, and eventually, in the course of doing that, they may bite the tongue by accident. Some could squeeze out if there's urine in bladder, and maybe confused with passing urine. Actually, it is not passing urine, but that urine is squeezed out because the muscles are in spasms. Others can even pass stool. So during that jerk, all those events may occur or they may not occur. But what is most important is that the fact that these people fall, and they can fall with a lot of violence and injure themselves. More often than not, a number of these patients may see warning signs. These warning signs can be seen by the observer or the patient himself. If they are seen by the observer, they can take so long, maybe 2 weeks too. The mother may report that the child is not having good sleep, or may be very hyperactive in terms of behavior, or is showing some signs of withdrawal. Those are what we call the prodromal signs. Then just before a seizure occurs, individual patients can witness certain strange experiences. It could be some undefined headache, but others may also feel some sensations in the abdomen. Others may see strange images. Others may also hear strange voices. That's what we call an aura. It tends to recur itself in every patient, but every patient may have his own.
Yeah.
So by and large, those are some of the signs that a patient may see. When they lose consciousness, they may not be able to explain. So most of the events which occur when the patient is unconscious, it will be explained by the observer. So apart from what I call the generalized tonic-clonic seizure, we also have other types. There is one we call complex partial seizure. This one does not present with total loss of consciousness, but somebody comes with strange behavior, maybe repetitive, what we call automatisms.
Yeah.
If it is a matter of smacking, what we call lip smacking, they continue that. Others may simply sing or rub their hands, and a very strange behavior, but they are not totally aware. And when they recover, they become very, very remorseful, and some of them become very guilty. During the course of that attack, they may even walk to strange places and even trespass into other people's compounds. They may commit things which may be seen to be criminal, and therefore they can easily fall victim of mob justice. And these things happen, but hardly do we think that it is epilepsy. Maybe the milder types affect children more often, where a child is in class, they simply lose consciousness, they have interruption in the flow of their consciousness, so they just become absent. We call it absences. They stay into space, they hear nothing, they feel nothing, and they also see nothing. And it can happen so many times that the child misses out on some lessons. So some of the signs that you may see is the deterioration in the performance of these children. And there could be there are more other signs. Some people may get an attack and they don't lose consciousness. But if it is a hand, which is the area which controls the hand is activated, you will simply see continuous movement of that hand. And they have no control over it. Those are what we call the partial seizures. And there are more and more types. But I've just mentioned the ones that we encounter more often. Yes.
But of course, the one that, as you said, that can be identified by someone else is the one where someone falls and they start probably jerking and having a seizure, as you put it. All right. Now, Eva, to you, you said that you were diagnosed in the year 2018. I want to believe that the diagnosis of any condition, not just epilepsy, is not something easy, especially when you're diagnosed at adulthood.
True.
How has it been for you, especially when you were told that you have epilepsy?
Of course, the initial stage of any diagnosis, especially if it's a disease that you are not expecting, there's denial. You go into denial, and that's what happened to me. I went into denial for some time. Then when it started sinking, I was depressed at some point. I felt this shouldn't be happening to me at this particular time in my life. There was a lot going on, and I was doing very well in my career back then. So I felt like it's like waking up one morning and you don't have an arm, or you've lost an eye. So it was bad for me initially, and then with time. Again, it got even harder for me because now it's affecting my family as well, because I had to go back home and my mother had to be my caregiver, my primary caregiver. So it was also hard on her. So generally it was a life-changing experience for me. And I can say it's only with time, and initially I wasn't having all the information concerning epilepsy. It was only with time that when I met the right people who gave me the right information, I started to see, oh, it's not so bad. It's something that I can manage and live with and, go around my business as a normal person. So until then, it wasn't so good. But after that, I can say now I'm progressing very well and I'm looking at life positively.
All right. Just talking of, you found the right people that, and you are able to understand epilepsy more and even better. I mean, you are now informed about epilepsy. There are so many myths surrounding epilepsy.
Yes.
And I mean, with the diagnosis of epilepsy, I want to believe now, even your mom, it's something new to everyone around you. Would you say you faced a stigma, either from your family or just from the community around you?
Yes, I did face stigma at my place of work before I had to resign. Of course, some people, I'll put it, they have the wrong concept about epilepsy. So some will say, she's that girl who swallows her tongue, she's got that disease that is communicable, you know, because some people think it's communicable, but it's not communicable. So I faced that, and then it put me in a place where I felt now I can't even share with other people what I'm going through, because I don't know how they are going to respond to that. And then when I got home, also with my mother, because she didn't understand it as well, she felt, oh, there's something we have to hide. We don't tell people that you have epilepsy. So it lowered my self-esteem to some point, and I felt, I'm not that person anymore. I can't interact with people. I withdrew from people, and yeah, there's so many myths. People think that when you touch somebody with epilepsy, you can get epilepsy. Some think that with epilepsy, you can, you know, you're not fit to be in the community. And people are even afraid of you. They fear to interact with you, or they give you that look like, you know. And others even think you can't work in a normal, you know, in a normal place like the rest. So there is that. But I can confidently say, as long as you're able, you get the right information, you get the right medication, and you manage the condition, you can live like any other normal person. And we have rights like any other human being. We have the right to life. We have the right even to vote. You know, we have the right to seek for those seats, like, you know, in the government and all that. So a person with epilepsy is any other person, like any other person. It's like somebody with diabetes or pressure. You don't stigmatize somebody with diabetes or pressure, right? So epilepsy is something that you can live with very well.
I think the most important bit is for epilepsy to be taken as a medical condition, because some of the stigma and discrimination that surround it, it's because now people start associating it with non-medical things around that. And now, Dr. with the stigma still, I believe with the people thinking that it's communicable, probably you will swallow your tongue when you're having a seizure and things like that. What do we do when someone around us is having a seizure? What are some of the things that we are not supposed to do? Because when you're talking of someone swallowing their tongues, that is someone might actually end up doing the wrong thing to this person that is having a seizure.
Thank you, Ada. Probably before I come to that, I could have just mentioned something like what really causes epilepsy. Because Evelyn talks of having developed it 2018, probably at the age of 20 or 30, and thinking that probably it came from nowhere. Let me just mention that the common causes of epilepsy, one of them is infections which can occur to an individual, and this infection affects the brain. Anything that can go inside the skull will affect the brain in a certain way and will leave a scar. That scar may be inactive for a long period of time until there's a trigger at one point, which may make the patient have the first episode, what we call a seizure. So the fact that she had it at that age does not mean that was the beginning. We need to go down the memory lane and take a history of what events could have caused that kind of injury. Apart from infections, children when they are born, some suffer what we call asphyxia, birth asphyxia, where they don't cry in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes. They can be weak, or even after they are delivered, they could still suffer some infections. But a child who does not do very well in the first 10 minutes in terms of crying and breathing, usually develop as an injury to the brain, and that can manifest later. Apart from that, we have people who develop tumors. The tumors can be malignant, what you call cancers. They may just be tumors which compress on the brain.
Yeah.
And those ones can manifest later in life. And of course, other diseases which may interfere with electrolytes. But to come to your question now, what do we do when somebody gets an attack? It's a very important question because it brings us to the point of saying that it's important to know what we should not do.
Okay.
It is even more important to know what you should not do than knowing what you do.
To do.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there are what you call the don'ts and the do's. The don'ts are only four.
Yeah.
One, never panic.
Okay.
Yes, when you panic, so don't panic, especially if you are the attendant.
Okay.
Two, ensure you don't restrain the movement, especially when somebody is having those jerks. Don't try to restrain the movement because they will definitely not stop. It's a message from the brain. Three, never try to give anything to drink because this person is not conscious. Anything that you give to drink may simply go into the lungs and cause problems. Lastly, never try to stop the person from biting the tongue, what they call biting the tongue. Because the cause of doing that, we put objects into the mouth. Those objects cause injuries to the tissues in the mouth. And worse still, they don't stop the bite. Because the bite starts actually occurs in the first second of the attack, if it has to be there. And is always accidental. Yeah, so apart from the don'ts, then what do we do?
Okay.
Ensure that the patient is away from danger. Remove the patient from danger. If it is on the road or next to fire, try to remove them. Then if there's any dangerous object around, like a knife or any sharp object, remove it.
Okay.
Ensure that this person continues to breathe. How do you ensure that? You loosen the tight clothings around the neck, particularly, and ensure that those tight clothings do not interfere with the breathing. Ensure that this person does not choke. How do you do that? Turn the patient in what we call recovery position. Left semi-prone position with the leg in a certain way and the hand at a certain point. And lastly, ensure that there is no continuous injury. Put something soft when the head is banging, and stay with the patient until they recover. Most of the time, these attacks last 5 minutes, so it does not even take long. But when people see it and witness it, they think it has taken a long period of time. It is because of the fear. Yes. So if that can be done adequately well, then we are home and dry in terms of stopping any adverse outcomes that may occur in the course of the attack. Yes, thank you.
All right. Now, I'll say that is like seizure first aid, what you've just explained.
Exactly,
yeah.
yes.
And now, Eva, to you, very briefly, because we'll be taking a short break in 1 minute. What is the worst thing that has happened to you during a seizure? Or the worst thing that someone has done to you during a seizure?
I can say initially the seizures that I used to get, I get nocturnal seizures. They happen during the night when you're asleep. So initially I was alone, so I wouldn't tell what was really happening. But I remember there was a time it happened during the day, only once, and it's because I had had 2 seizures during the night, and then during the day it happened once, but at that time I was not on consistent medication. So when it happened, I was cooking and I fell, and luckily I can say my neighbor came in. I had not locked the door. But what really scared me is that the fire was on, and I fell and I hit my flask. It fell, it broke. So that scared me because I thought, wow, what if I would have, got myself burnt or something like that. So that is the closest dangerous thing that has ever happened to me. But other than that, because it happens at night, only wake up in the morning feeling fatigued, and you know
that probably
it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And now we take a very short break. We will definitely be back with more in terms of management, prevention, as well as treatment of epilepsy. Just to let you know that today the world is marking International Epilepsy Day, and that's why we are here just trying to create awareness about epilepsy. So we take a very short break. We will be right back with more.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
We
Well, welcome back to Kirk in the Morning. Today's conversation is all about epilepsy, even as the world marks International Epilepsy Day. And during the break, I was just going through a number of your responses or just questions through our different social media platforms. And actually, the question or what people would like to know, I've just summarized them into one. Yes. I think let us just give a summary of what causes epilepsy and the signs.
Well, thank you once again. I think I'd gone through that, but let me just summarize. Epilepsy is caused by any injury that can occur to the brain.
Okay.
This injury can be physical, it can be chemical, it can be electrical. But the most common ones are physical, where we get infections, or violent blow to the head, causing some internal bleeding. We can get tumors, growth within the cranial cavity. We also have changes in the electrolytes in the body, probably too much calcium or low calcium levels. For those who have diabetes mellitus, too high sugars or even lack of it can cause injury to the brain. So in summary, anything that can cause injury to the brain, majority of these occur in childhood, but we also must not lose track of the fact that some of the habits that we undertake, like drinking alcohol, they cause injuries to the brain. And drugs, again. So anything that probably can cause an injury to the brain will result in epilepsy. When it comes to the signs, it depends on which particular part of the brain the injury is, and therefore it will depend on the type. But I just mentioned 3 major types. We have the generalized tonic-clonic seizure, what you used to call the grand mal. This is the one that we know about, the one that makes people fall down. They produce a sound which looks like a cry. They start jerking. Once they're jerking, they can easily bite the tongue. If the tongue happens to be between the teeth, they may squeeze out urine, and sometimes they may sweat a lot and also pass stool. So, but it doesn't follow that all those events must occur. The fact that somebody has not passed urine or stool does not rule out epilepsy. I also want to mention that we have those that occur at night. And we also have those that occur during daytime. There are reasons why they occur during daytime, and there are reasons why they occur at night. But the ones which occur at night, if they happen to occur during daytime, they usually give very clear warning. Because it is a lesion in the brain which starts activation, and therefore that activation starts spreading. In the course of spreading, the patient may experience certain things, and this out of experience they may know that I'm just about to get an attack. And that explains why Eva here may not have sustained any injury, because the type that she has can easily give a warning, and if it gives a warning, she will take a refuge and may not suffer that time. I must also mention that there are children who get convulsions when the temperatures rise. This may not be epilepsy. We call them febrile convulsions. But if they are not well managed, they can also change to epilepsy later. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. And now let us just look at the treatment and management of epilepsy. Eva, you mentioned that let me say your seizures are now under control because of medication. You also mentioned that probably you used to have a recurrent one because you are on and off medications. What is the importance of someone living with epilepsy just to adhere to medication, as well as just some of the triggers of epilepsy?
Well, thank you, Aida. I might probably, let me start with the triggers. Triggers differ from one person to the other. So whatever may trigger my seizures may not be the same that triggers another person's seizures. But generally there are triggers like flickering lights. If you take alcohol and you have epilepsy, you're definitely going to trigger a seizure. You know, for some people, coffee or tea can trigger. Also, there are other triggers as well. It depends. People are different. And also lack of enough sleep, stress, and excessive stress. It can be either positive or negative, but in excess. Excessive stress can be a trigger. When you get too excited or you're too stressed, maybe by work and all that, it can trigger. And also hormonal imbalance for the teenagers. You can, especially for teenagers who are diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of that teenage age. They are most probably because the hormones now are trying to balance. So maybe they had the epilepsy since childhood, but now when they're getting into teenagehood, that's when the hormones are now, all over. So it can trigger. It can trigger the seizures in them. So those are the triggers. The other question was the importance of adhering to medication. It is very important to eat healthy, to take your medication. I mean, you want to live healthy, right? So it's for your own good if you are there to take your medication. But it's very important not to skip the medication, to have the right times to take the medication. Don't miss out. Because the moment you miss, you are at risk of triggering a seizure. So it's very important to take your medication and to eat healthy.
So not taking your medication is also one of the triggers.
All
right. And now, Daktari, once someone has been diagnosed with epilepsy, now on the issues of medication. Of course, there is the myths that surrounding epilepsy, that it's not treatable. Just to set it clear, is epilepsy treatable?
Good. Thank you, Ada. To say the least, epilepsy is treatable but not curable.
Okay.
And there's a confusion between the two. Treatable means you give a medication which suppresses the activation of those parts, therefore limiting the seizures. And if these seizures can be limited or restricted for a long period of time, then the brain learns how to live with them and even avoid them. So somebody who has been subjected to good treatment for a long period of time, the seizures stop. And once they stop, they disappear. Before they stop, we cannot interfere with medication. But even after the seizures have stopped, we need another long period of time, probably 6 or even 8 months, when still on the same medication. So to put it right, the drugs which we use for the management of epilepsy are not supposed to cure it. They are meant to reduce the number of seizures which occur, and they are meant to reduce the severity.
So it's like managing.
Exactly. Actually, we manage epilepsy. And if we can reduce the seizures to 0, that means they don't occur. Or if you can reduce the severity from the severe type, what I was calling the grand mal, to a mere flickering of the body, something like that. That is very significant gain in treatment. So treatment of epilepsy unfortunately takes long. We are yet to see cases where patients can stop the medication in less than 3 years. So once the diagnosis is made, and please, the diagnosis must be the real diagnosis. Here, diagnosis may not. There are things which may look like epilepsy, but they are not.
But they are not.
Yes, so epilepsy must be diagnosed.
How,
and there are
how
criteria.
is it diagnosed?
Yes, we shall come to that. But once it is diagnosed, you must make a choice whether or not this one warrants treatment. Because a single seizure in a year does not warrant treatment unless the impact is so severe. And even as we give that treatment, we must choose the right drug and the right dose for the right interval, for the right duration of time. If any of them is wrong, you will not get it right. Yeah, so when it comes to, we discuss about the diagnosis. Diagnosis of epilepsy, to my fellow colleagues, is not difficult at all. In fact, you need minimal resources. History of the disease, how it occurs, any event which precedes it, what happens during that seizure activity, and what happens thereafter, the number of times it occurs, the circumstances under which it occurs, and any other risk factors which could have occurred even in childhood. By the way, even those that occurred when the mother was still pregnant will still count. The habits of an individual, the kind of occupation this person is doing or has been doing can also be a risk factor, and it can also count a lot in terms of management. So the total package for treatment of epilepsy is basically a good history which is taken, then physical examination. Quite a number of times when you examine them, you may not even get anything. But based on the history and the fact that this person is having attacks is good enough. We have some investigations we can do. Many of them will actually show normal because they show different things. If the injury is not physical, you will never see it on imaging. Yes. So the fact that a CT scan or an MRI showed nothing does not mean somebody does not have epilepsy. The fact that an electroencephalography was done and it does not show any abnormalities that does not mean the person does not have epilepsy. So history is critical, examination is quite critical, and also the investigations. Yes.
All right. So after taking the history of this patient,
yes,
it's also important now to do like you mentioned, the CT scans and the EEG.
Yes.
So that you're sure that when you're putting this person under medication, you're actually treating epilepsy and not any other thing.
Exactly. But most of the time, the investigation that we do are only meant to confirm what we think.
Okay.
Otherwise, the main thing is you should always suspect, you should have what you call high index of suspicion, that this must be epilepsy, and therefore I need this kind of investigation to add up to my evidence.
Okay.
Otherwise, even normal people, like any other person, you may do things like electroencephalography, and they show abnormal. It doesn't mean that they have epilepsy. No.
Okay.
The fact that somebody has a shiza is the only evidence that somebody has epilepsy. And the shiza may not always be convulsive. I think I told you that. At the same time, these shizas, when they occur singularly, they may not add up to epilepsy. So epilepsy is a condition which has recurrent seizures.
Okay.
Tendency to have recurrent seizures, and these seizures are spontaneous, they are not provoked, they are self-limiting, and they take very short period of time. That is what we call epilepsy. Thank you.
All right. Now, as just as we wind up now, Eva, I'm sure people with epilepsy face so many challenges. What would you say is, I mean, living with the condition, probably your challenges could not be similar to any other person, but at some point it could be similar to this other person that is living with epilepsy. What is the greatest challenge that people living with epilepsy face?
What I've encountered and even heard from people who have met who have epilepsy, some of the common challenges are lack of enough information concerning the epilepsy, and also the caregivers. They don't have enough information how to deal with the people they're taking care of, or their loved ones, you see. So lack of enough information. For others, it's accessing medication. They feel like the medication is too expensive, for depending on the background, you know, and source of living. And for some, it's that. So you may find someone, they really want to be treated, but they cannot access medication due to maybe the cost. And also the other challenge, unfortunately, is stigmatization still. You know, people are being stigmatized. I had a case about last month of a young man who actually ended up committing suicide under the care of his own brother. So it was quite sad. So those are some of the common challenges you find. There's still stigmatization. As much as we are trying to create awareness, you know, there are different organizations that are creating awareness countrywide. We have an organization like Angaza, Pambazuka. You know, they are really trying to create the awareness, but still there's stigmatization at some point. Yeah.
All right. And just talking over this, still the stigmatization, however much we continue creating awareness about epilepsy. What exactly can be done? Are we probably, is the awareness being created in the wrong way or the wrong platforms?
I can say it's not being done wrongly or in the wrong platforms.
Just the people.
I think it's just the people. People will always be people. You know, people will always be people, and because of, you know, this is not something that started the other day, like cancer or something. This is something that has been there down history, and people have always had those myths and misconceptions. So taking them from that to the right information, that is also a challenge. You know, you'll find others, because of their religious beliefs, and I don't mean to offend anybody, they think it's something that can be treated through only prayers or spiritual, you know, intercession, and they dismiss, you know, the professional aspect of it, the medication and everything like that. So the awareness is working, because people like me now have the right information. But now the people who are being given the information. So we just need to be patient, but I know eventually people will really understand epilepsy and treat it as it should be treated.
Dr. You have something
no, just to follow up on the same, I'm glad that you brought it out very clearly, that stigma is a big burden. Actually, the disease is not even the problem. The organic part of it is not the problem. The problem is the social burden, how people perceive you. And you see how we react to that perception. So it is very, very common that many people who live with epilepsy develop depression, and it is reactionary. They develop low esteem. They withdraw. If they are children, they start withdrawing too early, and therefore they will not develop those soft skills that are required for their survival. So the burden, the social burden has been there, and sometimes it is reinforced by our religion, it is reinforced by our traditions, and also by our values. Yeah. Many times it has been associated with the evil spirits, witchcraft, contagion. These ones have been there, and they have lasted for over 4,000 years. So fortunately, technology is catching up, and the things are changing.
Yeah.
We may not get it right in terms of awareness creation, but at least as we go forward, we shall develop strategies which will work better. But what we must tell the public is that this disease has nothing to do with witchcraft. It has nothing to do with devil possession. It has nothing to do with any curse, as is believed in traditions. Yes.
All right. And now, just talking of epilepsy did not come the other day. We are talking of centuries and so many years back then. Is there any research that is being done, especially in terms of medication? I have interacted with quite a number of people living with epilepsy. And I think the burden, other than the stigma, the burden is also with that medication. I mean, accessing the medication, how expensive it is.
Oh, yes. Yeah, just to make it even, make the conversation even wider, management of epilepsy requires several actors. One, it requires the infrastructure, which will address the issue of access. Do these people have where to go? Two, the supplies. Are they there? Three, do we positively require that treatment? Because there are people who will go the first day, if it does not get well, then they withdraw for ages. Yeah, so it's much wider than just the supplies. We have quite a number of types of epilepsy. Unfortunately, each one of them has its own medication. There is no universal drug which is going to treat all epilepsies. No. So it starts with the diagnosis. Was the right diagnosis made? And if the right diagnosis was made, was the right choice of drug made? And if that drug was, the right choice was made, is it available? Even if it is available, is it efficacious? Is it quality? How do we maintain its quality? Yes. And then, how is this, what are some of the factors that you look at when you are giving the medication? Let me just tell Evelyn that even if you are on the best medication and you don't take care of the triggers, the disease will still continue. So it's a multifaceted kind of engagement. And that's why the media, like you, are very important in the campaign. What we say must be amplified so that it reaches the right audience, even to the policy makers. So there must be access, there must be availability, and there must be affordability. Because a drug which is not affordable in long term is also a side effect of that drug. Because if you cannot afford it in long term, it means it will not work. These medications are molecules, and I'm glad that the research has continued. The first drug was actually discovered in the 18th century. But since then, you have seen so many molecules. And they come every other day. So these drugs, the research is ongoing. No magic wand yet, no magic bullet. But every drug has its own good effects, and the more they come into the market, the more efficacious they become, and the management of epilepsy is becoming better and better by the day. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Now, as we wind up, Eva, as the world marks International Epilepsy Day, I mean, it's your day, it's the day of caregivers, it's the day of people like Dr. who are conducting research. What would you just say to let me say, to the people living with epilepsy and all the stakeholders just in the epilepsy awareness creation?
Oh, thank you, Ida. What I will say is, number one, epilepsy is a condition that can be managed, and you can live with it and live healthy. It's not something that should scare you or make you withdraw from the public or feel like you're not you do not belong. Yeah, and with the right medication and taking care of yourself, avoiding the triggers, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. And for everybody out there, they need to find out more about epilepsy so that they can reduce the social burden, as the doctor has said, on the people who have epilepsy, and treat them, as any other human being. Yeah.
All right, Doctor, to you, a parting shot from you.
Parting shots. Let us look at people with epilepsy like any other person. In fact, history has taught us a lot. There are great leaders who had epilepsy. We had great politicians who had epilepsy and great scientists. Why not the current generation?
Yeah.
So what needs to be done is, if you have any relative whom you suspect could be having epilepsy or some seizure disorder, please bring them to hospital so that they can be diagnosed early and treated early. Anything short of that, the longer somebody takes before they start treatment, is the worse the outcome.
Yeah.
So the earlier the better. So let us have positive health-seeking behavior. Let us have positive attitude towards these people. Let us avoid stigma. Let us avoid discriminating them at family level, at workplace, and also in the public. When you see somebody having an attack somewhere, please do the right thing. Remember the don'ts. Don't try to restrain them. Don't sit on them. Don't tie them with ropes, and don't put anything into the mouth in the name of stopping them from biting their tongue. Thank you.
All right, they're sitting, there are people who sit. All right, thank you so much, Dr. and Eva, for your time, and thank you for sharing that very critical information with our audience this morning.
Thank you.
All right, thank you as well for tuning in. I hope that you've been able to learn and just be informed about epilepsy. Remember that today the world is marking International Epilepsy Day, and on Kirk in the Morning, we definitely join the world in creating awareness about epilepsy. Thank you so much for keeping me company from morning until this particular time. To everyone who made this broadcast a success, we are wishing you a blessed Monday.